Space Coconut.
Okay, now that the MMR system is live, and people are experiencing the epitome of the dev design capabilities, let's talk about MMR caps and why they're going to cause a problem for the sweaty SWF and solo survivors in the future. Before I get into this one, be sure to sub to the channel if you're new here and don't want to miss future discussion videos like these. If you ever want to talk about anything you see in my videos, feel free to come by my Twitch channel where I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, as long as my ISP lets me stream anyway. Let's talk about why elite survivors and SWF groups are going to be the driving force behind future survivor nerfs and weaker killer buffs. Of course, we should all admit that as I'm writing this, the MMR is kind of underwhelming, and we're all hoping that the bugs are being worked out and that it turns into a functional system sooner rather than later. Disclaimer: for the purposes of this discussion, we're going to ignore the issues of vets being paired up with new players, and we'll pretend that the system works well, okay? If you dive into the comment section yammering on about how the MMR system sucks or it doesn't work or anything like that, I hope that the chat overall will point you to this point in the video so you can learn how to pay attention in class. Also, since we have no idea how the MMR system actually works, I'm just going to use imaginary numbers to get the point across. Got it? Okay, good. Here we go. Everyone pretty much agrees that each individual killer and survivor have a skill floor and a skill ceiling, which means that no matter how good you are with an individual character, there's a limit to how well you can perform. The reason for this is because of the opponents you face, their skill cap, and how the game overall is balanced. All of this will translate into the highest MMR that you can possibly gain for a particular killer, or the survivor role. With this in mind, let's pretend that the maximum MMR any hag player can possibly achieve is 5,000. The clown, as an example, can be 900, and spirit can be 6,500, while a solo survivor's MMR cap can be around 5,000, and the sweaty SWF's cap could be 9,001. The reason for this scoring is because of the universally accepted notion that a good SWF will dominate the majority of all killer players. Again, these are just pretend numbers to get the idea across. If the MMR system works right and matches players according to similar MMR, then the average solo survivor is going to see more hags than clowns or spirits. This is because their own MMR score would prevent them from being matched up against a good spirit player. Now, you know those sweaty 9k SWF groups that like to dominate killers? Their queue times are going to skyrocket, and the quality of killers they face are going to become very stale. They might face up against the same spirit player over and over until that spirit player decides to dodge their lobby once they see it's that group again. As their queue times get longer, they finally get paired up with that 5k hag player and easily dominate them. As time goes on, the numbers will begin to show that these score disparities are constant. The devs will see that no clown player manages to gain an MMR above 900. The spirits cap out around 6,500, while dedicated solo survivors cap out around 6,000 with skill and the right build. But those survivors who play in groups more often than solo, their MMRs are somehow much higher than any of the killers, causing many unbalanced matches for everyone involved. Now, I'm not sure how easy it would be to program the MMR system to balance around the 2-kill, 2-escape philosophy that the devs have strived for since the beginning, but let's ignore the details of that and move forward. When the devs see that clowns are stuck at a much lower MMR than they would like, we're going to start seeing buffs for them, and any other killers that have trouble achieving a standard or average MMR. This standardized MMR is important so the pool of players is large enough to provide quick queue times and evenly balanced matches. Then, in this same spirit of standardization, those sweaty SWF groups are going to see nerfs brought to them to compensate for their strength as a group. What those nerfs would look like is anyone's guess, but it's going to be separated from the solo survivor experience, since the solo survivor nerfs might come in the form of killer buffs, more map changes, or that warm-up stage that was hinted at instead. Now that I think about it, core gameplay changes might come before SWF changes, so as not to utterly destroy those groups. But anyway, because the SWF team can be so strong and overwhelming, their MMR cap is going to reflect this and cause the devs to react with nerfs in the same way they've handled killers that have overperformed in the past. I personally wonder how the numbers don't reflect the strength of a good SWF group, but maybe the devs didn't have a reason to follow or track them as closely as they tracked killer performance. This is just a theory, so who knows what'll actually happen. But I doubt that we'll see any nerfs or buffs until the MMR system stabilizes, or is thrown away completely. I do wish we could see what our scores were, or at least have an idea of what they look like. I like comparing my skill to others because I like to improve. That's also why you rarely see me play meme builds or try new perks outside of my standard loadout. But whatever, right? Whatever the devs decide to do, we'll find out about it eventually. Let me know what you thought about this little brain exercise. If there's something you want me to talk about in a future video, be sure to drop a suggestion or a question in the comment section. I read all of the comments even if I don't respond to them. Be sure to like the video if you like the video, and dislike the video if you think the MMR system is perfect. Until next time, I'll see you in the fog.